Welcome to our Wednesday, May 21 homeschool day. Look at that sun coming in. It is absolutely gorgeous today. It is about 7:22 in the morning. So I'm going to get some breakfast going for the kids and I'm going to defrost some chicken for lunch today. And I have a lot to share with you today. But before we get into that, I want to make sure that you are clicking on the notification button because these day in the life videos are dropping at all times of the day and night. So I want to make sure that you're able to see them. But today we're going to go over some books that I have in my cabinet. So my bookcase is a floor to ceiling bookcase that is built in. We built this in a couple of years ago. And all of the books are organized by subject area, not by grade and not by author, just by subject area. And today I'm going to be sharing with you a couple of the books that are in this Waldorf section here. Some of you are asking about some books for drawing or art or watercolors, so I'm going to share that with you today. We have our lessons laid out here today. This is for our astronomy unit as well as anatomy. We have our chemistry things over here. I do have some lesson planning to do today because I keep doing our lessons without really planning them. We're making great progress, but we do need a bit of a lesson plan just to keep us sort of on track because we only have a few weeks left of school, about 5 weeks or so left of school. So let's get started with some breakfast and just some house maintenance, and then we're gonna dive into our work probably, I think realistically by 9 a.m. However, sometimes when we are starting our official lessons at 9. My daughter is already previously doing her daily work. Daily work are worksheets that, or sometimes key to geometry. Our key to geometry looks something like this. And all of our key to, well, whatever key to curriculum that we have left is here, along with some other math books. But sometimes she's working on her daily work, which are worksheets that are usually 1 to 2 grades below the grade level that she's at in order to keep some of those concepts sharp. So it's usually math worksheets and language arts worksheets, so grammar worksheets. And then sometimes we'll add in some other worksheets, maybe like history and science, but usually it's just those 2 core subjects. And that way she can be working on something independently. It's usually not more than 20-ish minutes per day, approximately. When the kids were younger, I started this at around grade 4, I think. Yeah, probably like grade 4 or 5, and the worksheet work might only take like less than 10 minutes. And as my children got older, that work got more intense. It took longer, even though it's something that my students could always do on their own because it's about 1 to 2 grade levels below where they're at. So that's something that she'll be working on even if I'm not in the schoolroom yet. That's something that she can do independently. All right, let's head to breakfast. It's 8:45 a.m. I'm going to choose a few opening activities. Of course, we have our mental math. I'm going to choose a math game and maybe one other thing. I want to keep the opening activities kind of tidy because I want to get through some of our content earlier in the day. Our days have been going kind of late, and I don't want that for today. Let's choose a Professor Noggins game. How about, ooh, of course, let's do outer space. Oh, that reminds me, I have another game that I think we'll enjoy playing. And that is, we have 2 astronomy games, but the one that I want to play is Destination Mars. It's fun, it's not educational, it's just a strategy game, but And it's a quick game, so we'll play that one as well. And for the math game, let's do Ubongo. And also this one's really quick and it's not educational, it's more pattern and strategy as well. Or maybe not strategy, just pattern. And then let's choose both of these books. We pulled them yesterday, but we didn't read them. So actually that's gonna end up being kind of a long time for our opening activities, but let's see if we can keep it tidy. I'm also going to grab Chemistry the Waldorf Way so I can look ahead at the next demonstration, and my live education Waldorf curriculum for chemistry. And let's pull this book. The DK Eyewitness book for chemistry has been a really great addition to this unit. I have mixed feelings about the DK Eyewitness books because sometimes they just don't read very well. The flow is not great, and sometimes just the content that you're using is just this little paragraph here because they're all the captions. The photographs are very nice because I tend to go for books that have illustrations over photographs, so this is definitely a nice addition. But this is, so DK, I think they're going through, you know, some changes because this is the DK, it's not an eyewitness book, but this is the DK, this is by DK as well. You can see that this book, this is just amazing. Like the illustrations or the photographs are superb, and I really like the content. It's not too long. And so what I feel they have done in this book, and I could be wrong, is that every couple of paragraphs that you would find in, you know, any other book, instead of it being several paragraphs on a page and maybe a smaller illustration, they've reduced the amount of content on one page and then added an illustration practically for every page. And what this does is that you can get through, it feels like you're getting through the book really quickly and very enjoyably with just enough information. And so the book, like, it's very big versus these books, which are a lot thinner. And if I'm not mistaken, this series, actually it's not a series, there are other books by DK that I think are on like a deep discount right now. So if you're interested, they're linked below in the description box. I don't have the other ones. This is the one that when I saw it, I really was drawn to it. There are a couple others that looked interesting for me, but as we haven't, or we're not revisiting those units, I'm hesitant to get them, but they're all listed in the description box below in case you're interested. On Mondays and Wednesdays, my daughter has an online class from 12 to 1. And in that time, I can usually prepare lunch or do other things. But today, I'm actually doing an online Zoom with 2 other Waldorf homeschoolers, and we're specifically talking about Waldorf chemistry. So it's going to be too late to see that now, but I encourage you to follow all 3 of us on Instagram so that you can see when the next one comes up, because we definitely want to do another one in the summer. And there are mailing lists for all of us involved, and I encourage you to sign up on the mailing list as well so that you can find out if you're interested when the next Zoom is going to be. And we've done just different topics in the past. We are averaging about 2 per year. It's free and open to everyone. So if you're interested in that, and specifically now we're really working on the middle school sciences, and that has been really enjoyable. It's 9 a.m. We are ready to start. Well, I should say I'm ready to start our opening activities. My daughter is just getting something warm to drink while we do some of our opening activities. Let's start with Destination Mars. You get 7 cards each, and then you try to make combinations in order to get points to make it from your launch on Earth to Mars. And then there are little things in the way that can set you back. And this game is so old. Pluto, isn't Pluto involved? Yep, Pluto is considered a planet. That's okay. We've made a couple of changes to the game in order to make it work. So these are the cards, and now we do combinations, and then once we do a combination, we put it in the throw pile and we move our spaceship forward. I have Earth and a moon and Pluto and a moon. That gives me 4 points. So now I can go 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 9:15 a.m., but my daughter wants to play this game again. She won really well. So I We can do one more game. We're just wrapping up our second game. It's my daughter's turn. She either is gonna have enough to win, or on my next play, I can win. But it's already 9:30 a.m., so we've spent half an hour playing this game twice. So we really have to be speedy through the rest of our opening activities. I'm playing Ubongo. And that's how you play. You have to match up your tiles onto the card. And that was a number 4 card. So now let's do the other side, number 3 card. We played this one super fast because we want to move on to something else. So we only just did 2 cards. Now we're going to do Professor Noggins, and the way we played this one is we just do maybe 5 cards each. This is perfect for our astronomy unit. Okay, first question. This is for the Venus card. Was Venus named after the Roman goddess of beauty, war, or wisdom? The sun. Is the sun smaller, similar in size, or larger than the largest planet in our solar system? Is it smaller? Oh, that one's too easy. You should never look directly at the sun, even with sunglasses. That one's too easy too. What is the outermost layer of the sun's atmosphere called? It's 9:40, we finished this, we finished this, we finished this. We will do mental math, and then my daughter will take a break for a little bit, and then we'll come back and do a lot of our reading. 4 is what fraction of 12? 15 is what percent of 20? It's 9:45 a.m. My daughter's gonna take a break for about 15 minutes. I'm gonna put the games away, and I'm also gonna share with you some of our art books that are Waldorf inspired. Let's go ahead and pull some of the books that can be really helpful for you if you're looking to explore watercoloring or drawing. Painting and drawing in Waldorf schools is one that is a staple for Waldorf teachers. Let's see, what else do I have? I've got 2 watercolor books that are not Waldorf inspired, but I'll share those ones with you as well. This one's really nice. It actually is printed on some really beautiful paper. This is a gorgeous book for watercoloring. The illustrations are just magnificent, and this would be so lovely for a botany unit or zoology unit. I also have Everyday Watercolor. This one is really beautiful. This one is called Celestial Watercolor. I have one more called Watercolor in Nature. And I have to say that this is not one of my favorite ones, but I still want to share it with you in case these are the kinds of illustrations that you're looking to do in your homeschool or classroom. I also want to pull some of the form drawing books as well. Form drawing is one of the very first lessons that you'll find in a Waldorf school, and this is the precursor to writing, drawing, and math. And I have a few form drawing books I want to share with you. My other form drawing books, they're all by Angela Lord. This one is Creative Form Drawing for the 4 Temperaments. It's brilliant. It's so informative. If you've never gone through the 4 temperaments, I highly encourage you to do so. Then we have Creative Form Drawing Workbook 1 and Workbook 2. I'm going to briefly show you these books, but if you want an in-depth view of them, I have a link in the description box below. The first one is called Color Dynamics by Angela Lord. This one goes through different watercoloring techniques. We especially used this when we first got it, and I really love the beginning pages when it talks about working with a single color. The next book I have is called Everyday Watercolors. This is not a Waldorf book, but you're going to find a lot of tips and techniques in this book. It's really beautiful. I love all the illustrations that this one has. The next one is called Colors of the West. I picked this one up from a gift shop because I specifically wanted it for our botany and zoology lessons. I think the illustrations are absolutely breathtaking, and I really love including watercolors, especially in our main lessons, as well as drawing. And if you want to do some drawing, this book called Painting and Drawing in Waldorf Schools Classes 1 to 8 is a tremendous resource. I know a lot of Waldorf teachers use this, and if you are a Waldorf homeschooler, this one's going to come in especially handy. If you don't have the opportunity to take a class, like a teacher training class, then this is going to be really helpful because it goes through all the different main lesson blocks with examples on your drawings and your watercoloring. And then for drawing, especially when you get into the upper grades, it's going to go through charcoal drawing and and perspective drawing, which is really helpful if you are unfamiliar with those techniques. Watercolor in Nature is not a book that I highly recommend. I got it when we were working through a botany main lesson block, but it wasn't quite the techniques or the watercoloring images that I was looking for. There were only a few images that I thought would be helpful, but overall, we didn't end up using this book. Form drawing and coloring for fun, healing, and well-being. This one's also by Angela Lord. This one is really interesting. If you've never used art for therapy or for well-being or healing, then this might be a really good exploration for you. It's very simple. It walks you through the techniques in a really easy way. And so if you're looking to explore that, especially as an adult, I wouldn't recommend this one for kids until you've gone through it. This might be a really good resource for you. Creative Form Drawing for the Four Temperaments. I love this book so much. I'm really into the temperaments at the moment. And this book helps you find balance and harmony with your temperament depending on your dominant temperament so that you can find some balance between them. It also goes into the four temperaments. It gives you some of the positive aspects of those temperaments and some of the things that you could maybe work on. The next book is Creative Form Drawing for children 10 to 12. This is Workbook 2. I also have Workbook 1. This is going to take you through some more advanced form drawing techniques, especially ones that have to do with geometry, since that is a main lesson block starting in grade 5. You can see some other motifs that you might use in your Norse mythology as well, and then some more complicated symmetry lessons. Celestial Watercolor. This is a book that I picked up for our astronomy unit because it goes into the different constellations, and I really love the layout of this book. The illustrations are magnificent. I like the way that it uses negative space, which you could either pull the color out of your watercolor once it's done, or a really fun technique is to use crayons to have a resist. And when we did this several years ago, we used white paint once our watercolor was done. And I really love that a lot of the illustrations are circular as well. The next book I want to share with you is called Creative Form Drawing. This is also by Angela Lord. This is Workbook 1. So this is going to take you through the first lessons in form drawing. Form drawing is a main lesson block that comes before writing or drawing or math. It is one of the very first main lessons. And this book helps you with some teaching techniques that will help you as a teacher with your students to, say, walk the form or draw the form with your arms or other body parts, and really work the form before you actually put your crayon to paper. The last book I want to share with you is called Watercolor With Me in the Forest. This one is a very unique watercoloring book because it provides you the illustration and different techniques, the supplies that you'll need, and the best part is that it gives you a sketch on the adjoining page so that you can have greater success when you're watercoloring. The paper itself is really nice. It's thick, it's slightly textured, and that way you can practice your techniques on the adjoining page. Isn't that illustration beautiful? I didn't do that one, my sister did it, but you can see that it gives you the example here, the colors that you can be using or working with, and then because it gives you the outline, you can have tremendous success. So I hope that you enjoyed those books. You can find links to all of them either in the description box below or on a blog post that accompanies this video specifically on different art materials for Waldorf education. It's 10:30 a.m. We're going to read Women in Science and then move directly into our main lesson. Since about 10 a.m., 10:15 a.m., my daughter's been working on her key to geometry. So we had a break, we worked on geometry, and now we're working on some more opening activities interspersed with our main lesson. And this is not typically something that I used to do in the past, but going back and forth between different subject areas and still doing our main lesson is something that I think works really well at the moment. 10:35 a.m. working on muscles and bones. Yesterday we did chapter 42 on walking, and we did the next chapter on the hand. The chapter on walking was incredible. It's really stayed with me this whole time. The idea of balance and the difficulty in being upright, and how many muscles are involved in walking in balance, and how difficult it is for scientists to create a robot that can balance on two legs. So that part was really interesting. And this book was written a while ago, and it's still a challenge for robotics. Okay, we're working on chapter 44 for the muscles and chapter 45 for voluntary and involuntary muscles. Muscles and bones work together as a great system of levers, and every time a muscle contracts, it turns a bone around a fulcrum to lift a load. It needs mechanics to understand how the muscles of the body work. We just finished 2 chapters of muscles and bones. It is now 11:20. My daughter's gonna take a little break, and I need to maybe do a little bit of cooking earlier than anticipated. The meat that I defrosted is totally not ready. So that might be for dinner because I'm gonna make something kind of light for lunch. We're done with this book. We already read it. Gosh, what day are we? We read it early. We read it this week. We finished this book this week, so I'm going to pull one of the other books in this series. I think we've read now 3 out of the 5. Let's just double check. Heart and Lungs is the one that I want to include since we just did voluntary and involuntary muscles. I can't remember when we did the brain, and we've already done the eyes. So I'm going to add this to either tomorrow's reading or later this afternoon. What we want to do now, there are still like a lot of books for astronomy that I want to do. However, at 12 o'clock, my daughter is going to work on her online class. And at that time, I'm doing an online Zoom for Waldorf chemistry. So we don't have a lot of time at this moment to do any of our lessons, to complete like any full lesson. What we're going to do is smaller things that don't take that much time. So my daughter, maybe just a couple more minutes of a break. Then we're just going to read maybe 1 or 2 books. Probably only have time for 1. We finished this one. We didn't do this one. Maybe we'll do this one. And then cooking, and she'll either do Key to Geometry or she'll take a break for a little while before she starts her 1 o'clock class. I'm using this tikka masala curry sauce from Trader Joe's. I've got some leg thigh meat cut up. I've got my rice that's almost done, and I only have about 5 minutes to get this finished and then start the Zoom. This smells so good. I love chicken tikka masala, but I've never tried a recipe that ends up tasting good. So I'm gonna keep this packaging and try to make a recipe based on the ingredients in here, because so far it smells really good. And I've only tried to make chicken masala like maybe 3 times, and it just wasn't good. Okay, that's done. I turned off the stove. The rice is in the Instant Pot, and it is almost noon. I gotta run upstairs. It's 12:30 and our Zoom webinar didn't work out because of internet connections for one of the hosts. So there's a chance for you to join if you would like. So be sure to check the description box below if you're interested in joining the webinar that we're going to talk about, specifically chemistry, the Waldorf way, and how to put together your demonstrations and your lessons, main lesson books, etc. And so this is primarily for middle school. So this would be 7th and 8th grade predominantly, and even 9th grade if you want to do the Waldorf chemistry approach a little bit later, which since we start a year behind my children's peers, like their ages, my 9th grade year, their first year of high school is really an 8th grade year. Look at that. It looks really good. It smells amazing. I'm not probably gonna have very much. I'm gonna leave it for the kids and I'll have something else, but I did want to sample it. It's almost 2 o'clock. This was a hit. I left a little bit for my one son who's not home yet. It's 1:50 p.m. and we're about to start our afternoon lessons. We are going to go for about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. Our school day is ending today at 5. I have some plans with my daughter in the afternoon, a little mother-daughter excursion. So we want to be done with everything. So we've already prayed. We're going to do our lessons. We'll pray Asr and then we'll go out. It's about 3:30 p.m. and my daughter has completed her Key to Geometry for the day, as well as a lot of her chemistry main lesson work. Yesterday, I spent some time ordering some resources for our astronomy unit, and 2 of those books came in. We have the Sky Atlas, and we also have Cosmos. This is by DK. This is a DK book. Same with the book that we're actually reading. So I bought this one because of the photographs. So the book has these incredible photographs, and there is an image of Mars, and it was, oh, look at that. It's incredible. Let me just show you the picture. It's this image here that made me really excited about getting this book. So this one is a very thorough, very dense book, and we will use it in conjunction with this one as well as the other books that we have, but it was the photographs and the illustrations that really made me excited about this book. This book is very interesting. I was unsure about this book. However, the reason why I am looking to include it is because there are sections from different historical time periods that talk about the constellations, the stories behind the constellations. And there is this part, that's really beautiful. There is a part in here about Islam. And so I was really interested in reading that part. Let me see if and then there is a section on Johannes Kepler. And hopefully there's one on, hopefully there's one on Nicholas Copernicus. Oh, here's Johannes Kepler. I did buy individual books. Oh, good. Oh, this on Copernicus. I did buy individual books on Johannes Kepler and Nicholas Copernicus, but I'm really glad to see them included here. See if I can find the section on the Arab world and Islam. So European astronomy. Here we go. Islamic celestial works reach Europe. So I'm interested to see what is included in this book regarding Islam and the Arab world. So I was undecided about this book, but because it includes interesting stories about like what people in the past used to think about the constellations, I really wanted to include this one. I do have another book. I actually put it back into our bookcase because I decided not to use it this time around, but I do have another book that kind of goes into that. So we have a lot of books that are more scientifically driven, but this one seems more maybe holistically driven. Maybe those are not the right ways to describe it. But anyway, oh my God, and this book is massive. You can find links to both of these books in the description box below if you're interested in checking them out. So at this time, we're going to work on astronomy. And I'm going to let my daughter choose which book she wants to be in with because we don't have a lot of time now, but we will return to our lessons at around 4:15. It's 4:30 and we're finished reading with this book, The Cosmos. We read a few selections, but we're actually going to move on to this one. And we've gotten in the habit of reading about 20 to 25 pages just because the pages are so short. And I do want to get through this entire book during our astronomy unit. And because it's such an easy read and the illustrations are so beautiful, this book has been such a joy to go through. So let's read about Mercury. It's 4:45 p.m. We're going to continue reading from the Mysteries of the Universe. We have about 15 more pages to read in this book. We're stopping on this page, The Moons of Mars. We'll pick up from Asteroids tomorrow. We're going to do one chapter in the Charles Kovacs book for astronomy. This contains geology and astronomy. The beginning chapters are on geology, but we're going to start on chapter 15, which is the heart of the sun. And this will be our first official lesson for our astronomy main lesson block. We will do our astronomy main lesson block from Live Education a little bit later because there are some lessons in here that I really, really love. A lot of math that's very intriguing. So we're definitely going to do this, but as I don't have time to prepare these lessons just yet, we are going to utilize these lessons, which are perfect for reading aloud, even though that may not be the intention of this book. It is a teacher resource, but I am going to read this lesson aloud. And also what I love about the Charles Kovacs books are that the lessons or the chapters are really short, and so it makes it very easy to stay on task and to keep up with this book because the chapters barely take a half an hour to complete, probably even less. I'm a bit of a slow reader. The last thing we're doing for today's homeschool is reading this book called Neptune. We have a pile of books for all of the planet books that we have. There are also a couple of picture books at the bottom of this stack. We've gone through so many of the picture books, we only have 2 left. These are some books that I'm assigned to my daughter. So there are a couple of pages that I'd like her to get started for these books. This is a very quick read. I think that she'd be done with this book in a half an hour. This one is a little bit longer of a read. And so I'll have her start with the Who Was Galileo. It is just a way just to get familiar with Galileo before we dive into some of the books that are a little bit more detailed and intense. But that will be some independent reading that she can do later in the day. But after we're done reading this book, we are done for the day.